Yo, what's up, guys? It's your boy Stu Bangas back here with another video for the question and answer thread. This is the second one we've done. If you didn't get a chance to check out the first one, it's posted on the page earlier. I'm trying to do these every 2 weeks if the questions keep coming in. We got this week. Let me see. Bear with me real quick. 7, 10 questions. Some pretty good stuff in here too. So I'll get into it. First question is, peace, Stu. I asked a while back on what the process is for clearing vinyl samples. Cost, who to contact, what happens if you don't, when and if you don't have to, royalty-free sample packs, and what that really means. Any info would be greatly appreciated. All right, first let me start off, we'll go in order here. What is the process for clearing vinyl samples? If you wanted to clear the vinyl sample, you'd have to look at the record or wherever you sampled it off, find the label, the publisher, the writer. You probably want to start with the writer because he's going to own the rights to the music throughout time. His deal with the label may have elapsed, especially if it's like an older record. You'll have to do some investigative work. If you can't get in touch with the person who who did the music, the writer of the music, you'll get in touch with the label or the publisher. All that info will be on the back of the record if you have it. Some of this stuff's pretty old, so some information may have changed, but you'll have to do a little research. But that will give you a start on it. And then, so that's who you would contact. What happens if you don't? In the pre-AI day and age that we've all been operating under, if you're not really selling a lot of records, you're gonna fly under the radar. From my experience, I'm not advising you. I'm just telling you what I've experienced in my career. Not advising you to do anything. That's because it's all completely up to you. I've never once had to clear a sample off vinyl. Thank knock on wood. I'm not getting millions and millions of streams on songs. I think the most streams I've gotten is like 1.5 million on Bushmaster Music with Black Poet, Vinny Paz, and Rock Marciano on the remix, and Lateb on the original. And that did 1.5 million streams. That was off a library record, off a fairly big label. It was either a KPM record or a Bruton record or a DeWolf, and I didn't get popped for it. I still haven't. Knock on wood again. I don't want to jinx myself. So if you don't, you're rolling the dice technically. I guess they could try to come back and get you for unpaid royalties for all the streams that have accumulated. So that's a risk that you run. You just got to decide, if you want to deal with it beforehand or try to fly under the radar. So that's that was a song that got 1.5 million streams. I haven't been popped for it, but it depends on the label, how strong they are at like keeping track of things. I would imagine, but again, I've never been popped for it. And again, this is before AI. And I don't know how that's going to change things. So I can't see the future, but I'm kind of getting away from really sampling vinyl records on the stuff that I put out, like on my label. If I'm selling a beat to somebody, that's on them. We have that discussion when I sell them the beat if it comes up. So I hope that answers that. Royalty-free sample packs. What does that mean? They tell you in the terms when you buy a sample pack, like on Drum Broker, if you buy it on Waves, if you buy it wherever you get it. There's so many places to get sample packs now. They tell you the deal. If your song gets under a certain amount of streams, you don't have to pay them any royalties on anything. It's usually 1 million, I think. But read the fine print when you buy the pack. It will tell you all that. If your song exceeds a certain amount of streams, then you got to start paying the sample composer royalties on the streaming revenue, and they'll tell you how much they want on what cut they want. They'll also tell you like if a song gets licensed. This is all in the terms when you buy the packs off the website. So it'll tell you, or it should be. If it's not, you ask them the question. If the song gets placed like in a movie or a commercial, whatever licensing deal where you get extra money on top of streaming, they'll specify whether or not they want a cut of that. But usually, if it says royalty free, they just want the money. I mean, but read the terms. They just want the money for the pack up front, like the $30, the $50 if you get the stems. So that's what that is. But that's generally what I've seen on the terms is the stuff I just outlined there. So I hope that helps somewhat. Um, if I didn't answer anything clearly, just let me know and I'll be happy to go back and readdress it. Or if this sparked other questions, please ask them because I could talk. I love talking about this stuff with you guys too. So just let me know. No, second question. To touch on the Patreon group beat album idea, which I think is dope, it gave me another twisted idea. With the ever expanding variety of producers entering the sample flip contest, maybe you could do a winning beats album. Yeah, I mean that's something we could look into. I think what I'm going to start doing is putting up like a poll on the page and letting people choose what we'll see what the majority wants on some of this stuff, and then go from there because we're all like basically a little community here, and we should all have input on it. But yeah, winning beats album that'd be dope, man. Because we would just have to figure out like if we're gonna sell it, we would have to figure out what's the fair way to go about splitting up the money. Um, but in all honesty, it would give me a way to promote the Patreon page, which benefits me too. So it's just something we got to think through. If it's, I think it's a dope idea though, but we just got to figure that aspect out. And you guys are killing it with the sample flip contest, man. That's like one of the most fun things I do every month, and we're gonna do another one next week. So we're doing them twice a month now. Get your beats in, guys. People are loving it too in the stream, and I'm getting good feedback on it, and people are joining the page also from it. So I had Jay DePina do the last one with me. I've already been told by Psycho Les DiBiase, Apollo Brown, C Lance, they'll all help me judge them again. It's just about working around these dudes' schedule. So I'm hoping to get one of those guys to join me for next week's. I know Les is in tour in Europe right now, so probably not him, but one of the other three. If not, I'll do it myself. But keep doing for next week. But I'll get those guys involved when it works out for everybody. Keep getting the beats in. I'll be posting the next sample early this coming week. But yeah, that's a good idea. We just got to figure out the particulars. Okay, next question. Do you arrange songs in the MPC or do you export to DAW for final arrangements and mixing? All right, so my process, and I can do a video on this if you guys want, is there's so many things you can do like tutorials on. It's like hard for me to determine like what to do, but I think I need to do more of them. I just want to do ones that you guys like. So maybe I'll start doing a poll to see what you guys want to see me do a video on that I can help you out with. Do I arrange my songs in the MPC? I like touching it with my hands. I don't like pause. I don't like doing the mouse and the keyboard. I try to keep that as minimal as possible. That's me. I'm older though. I'm 42. I know not everyone's like that, and everyone has different workflows. I do everything on the MPC. I mix. I can get it sounding very good in my opinion on just the MPC. You can master on that thing. You can compress, EQ. You can do everything you need to do, and you can literally export from that to your computer, and your beat's done. So you don't really need a DAW. But that said, it didn't used to be like that. Like this is where the MPC one that I'm talking about. When I use I've always used the MPC 2000 XL prior to 2 years ago or a year and a half ago when I was forced to switch over. I just got sick of repairing it, and there's no warranty. It's an older machine, and but when I used to use that, I had to use a DAW. So I've always used Pro Tools since like 2008, 2009, and I still have it. It's like $50 a month, but I think it's the best one. I realize that's a little expensive for some people. I've heard some people say to me like, "Oh, I can't afford this on the page," so I get it. I still use it. I find it to be worthwhile. I like some of the plugins on there. I don't arrange on there. I'll track out on Pro Tools and then line everything up and then do a final mix down. There's a plugin I really like on there, the Ozone Waves plugins that I like to use on the master of this beat. But by the time I dump the beat into Pro Tools, it's already leveled exactly how I want it off the MPC. Only thing is, I might want to just bump it up a little bit. In which case, I'll use the Ozone plugin. Definitely on the master. I might use the Ozone Waves plugin on an individual track. Like if I want to beef up the drum sound, the kick, the snare, or a break. If I use a drum break, um, I really like that plugin, and I think you can use that on other DAWs too. So, but I do all my arranging in the MPC. I prefer to do that. You know, with the drums, you can do everything. You can nudge the drums around like easily in the MPC, and I just like using my hands to do it. So, hopefully that answered that. Next question: is it a good thing that I do not share my fully completed beats before having my music publishing? Four question marks. So he's very curious about this. Not gonna lie, I feel anxious just a little. LOL. Again, this is kind of like the first one. Like I don't want to tell you what you should be doing, because it's like not for me to determine what you feel comfortable with. I can only tell you my experience on it. All right. If we're talking about like sharing beats like that you're trying to sell, I just make the beats and I put my tag over it and I post it on YouTube. And you know what I'm saying? I've had kids like record over it and post it on YouTube, but like, bro, nobody's listening to those kids' shit. It's like, it might get 10, 15 views. Nobody cares. Like, they know you're a lame if you do something like that. You're rapping over like a tagged beat. I've had dudes write me on YouTube, I'm going to loop this up and put it up. It's like, go ahead, dude. You're a fucking loser. So I do it, you know what I'm saying? If that's what we're kind of talking about, shopping beats. And then like, or if you go on BeatStars where we shop Young Bangas beats, they have the tag on there. It says the BeatStars, or you can customize the tag however you want it to be. So it's like, I'm not trying to tell you that you should not worry about it, but from my experience, it's never been an issue. Like I've never been jacked. I've been jacked for beats by rappers that I've worked with. I'm not going to say who. Like, I'll give you one example. There's a dude, an underground MC. Everybody would know him if I said his name. This is one story. Um, and we were supposed to be working on a project together. I sent beats. You know, none of this stuff is registered with ASCAP. Although all right, let me circle back. You need to get ASCAP, BMI, whatever you want to use, set up for yourself, because when you are putting your music out, you generate money off that. You get publishing. Um, it's separate from streaming revenue, so you need to do that. But what I'm trying to tell you is, don't be worried about like playing your music like on YouTube or shopping beats without publishing or registering that each time with your publishing, because you register every song, everything. You can register it all with ASCAP and BMI. I hope that wasn't too convoluted, but I'll give you one story. Like the guy we're working on a project, sent beats. We're supposed to be for a joint project we're both gonna make money off of, and then he decided he was gonna put out his own album. I'm gonna use these beats for this. So you know, I've had that story and that type of situation. You know, try to take the beats under a false pretense, and then you just have to tell the dude like, no, you're not. Um, and hopefully they're not a complete moron. I've been jacked before, and then in this case, the dude ended up paying me for the beats. We worked out a deal. Especially if they want to keep working with you going forward, most people aren't going to fuck you over like that. So I have been jacked before by a well-known MC, a well-known scumbag too, and then it was like a couple beats, but it's not the end of the world. You can still shop those beats as non-exclusive if you want. Um, then you know if it's a well-known MC, especially you can put the song out on your YouTube and use it to promote your brand. You know, I did this beat for so and so. If they jacked you for the money, it didn't pay you for the beat, you know, you just chalk it up. Don't work with them anymore. Most dudes are not going to be like that, so they don't want to get a bad rep. Like this particular dude that got over on me, he has a bad reputation and it's hurt his career. So hopefully that helps somewhat. Um, Next question. I'll try to think of more questions in the future, but just curious, what's your favorite artist outside of hip hop? Um, Probably like Queen. I like a lot of Queen rock shit. I used to like Guns N' Roses when I was younger, but not so much anymore. I don't really listen to much unless I'm sampling off vinyl. I like a lot of, as you guys know, the stuff that I post up. I like a lot of the Japanimation records, the BGM records. They just sound gangster to me. So all the dudes that compose for those records, I think, are fucking incredible. Next question. Have you experimented with Rip X for extracting tracks from music? I'd have never used Rip X, but I got Stems Serato Studio. It was only $250 to buy it. I don't want to pay for the subscription. I'd rather buy. If I can ever eliminate having to pay a monthly subscription, I try to do it. Like with the Pro Tools, I do it, but I think to buy Pro Tools flat out, unless I'm not doing my research. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's pretty expensive, or they don't offer it. And that's why I pay like 50 a month, which I don't. I'm not crazy about doing, but I use it. So, but I bought for 250 flat out the Serato Studio that has the stems. I've never used Ripex, but with stems, I'm gonna do a video on it at one point. You put the sample in, you just drag it, drop it in, then you can isolate. It tells you the key, it tells you the BPM somehow, and then you can take out the vocals, you can take out the drums, you can take out the melody, or you can leave only that in. And it doesn't sound perfect, but it sounds pretty good. And then you can also match the keys. You can throw different samples in, and they automatically will match the key for you, or tell you what the keys are, and you can switch them. You can match them together. So, um, the second part is, would you consider incorporating an AI tool like this into your workflow? So yeah, I have. It's good for when you're making drum kits. It's good when you have a sample that has drums in it you want to get out, or if you want to get just the vocals out to add it over a beat you already got made. Sometimes it's nice to have like a vocal you can add over top of a beat. So I like Serato Studio. I'd imagine it's somewhat similar to Ripex, but I've never used Ripex. Hopefully that answered that. Okay, Stu, here we go. I recently reached out to a reputable MC here in New York City. I'm not going to mention the name since it would be inappropriate to do so. They hit me back and said they'd F with my sounds, said they'd F with my sounds, and that was a huge compliment in itself. They continued to tell me that they'd give me a reasonable rate on a 16. So my question is this normal for someone like me who is brand new to be paying? I understand features if I rap, but I don't rap. As always, thanks for your time. All right, so it is normal. I mean, if you're talking about, so this is just my 2 cents on it. Again, this is not the Bible. Like, I can't tell you guys how you should go about doing things. You got to decide it for yourself. But you're saying the guy's a reputable MC. I don't know. Again, this is all subjective. If the dude has a brand, has fans that you're doing a song with, and you doing want to do a song with him to bring attention to your brand, and you're get more fans, maybe take some of his fans and bring them over to your side, make money off the song because his fans are going to listen to it. There's value in that. Can he charge for that? Yeah, he can. That's just how it works. Like he's put in work to build up that brand of his name. That's why you're getting at him. I'm assuming because of his name, and he's good. So yeah, there's value in that, and he's not wrong to charge for that. Now you can decide whether or not you want to do it. You can be like, not, and depending on the price that he's trying to charge you, you're like, nah, I'm good, man. Or yeah, I'll do it. Have I paid for verses? I've paid for plenty of verses, and I try to get the most value for my money. Um, and if the dude wants too much money, then it's like, no, I'm not doing it. At this point, I don't really do too much of it because I've built up relationships. What happens is when you get older and more heavy into the game, you start to build up your own name. This is part of a way to do it is paying for verses. Starts to build your name up. Then you can start working with guys more on the level and start trading. And that's the situation you'll find yourself in the more work you put in. I'm not a huge fan of just buying verses. I'm more of like I'd rather do a project. Like I did Black Poet Society. He got paid, up front to do it because I didn't have a name at the point. At that point, that album did a lot for me. Um, so yeah, it's up for you to decide. But I don't think the fact that you just make beats and don't rap factors in. So it is normal. Just make sure that you're getting a verse that's exclusive. Some of these dudes are scumbags and will try to sell the same verse to the people um, multiple times. So be careful with that. Kind of use your judgment on that, like your instinct. You can kind of tell if someone's being a scumbag. I don't want to say any names. I could name a few right now. I don't want to do that, but you kind of got to use your judgment on that. Or if you want to hit me on the humble, on the low, I'll tell you what I think about it. But as long as the understanding is it's between us. All right, but hopefully that helped. All right, next question. Hello, Stu. Are you doing well? I wanted to know if you had approached on Patreon the pre-mixing. I never know if my sounds sound good. I see the guys who type in red, and I find my sound weak next to it. Is there a standard when starting a beat? So a little bit of a language barrier here, but the pre-mixing. You never know if your sounds sound good. I mean, you got to use your ear, my man. What sounds good to you? Like if something's peaking or distorting, turn it down. Keep an eye on the master. Keep an eye on the level of each track and the master. You don't want it in the red too much. Sometimes it goes in the red a little bit, like on the MPC, and it's all right. You know what I mean? But you can hear if something's distorting. And if you need to bump something up, and it's oftentimes group this stuff together, and you can lower everything. That will enable you to bump something up, so it's not peaking. And then keep them grouped. Get it to the level you want as it's lower. Keep them grouped. Once you have it leveled out, and turn it up real loud on your speaker or something so you can hear it, and you bring everything up. Okay. And then if you still need to bump something up, like an individual track or the master, then you put some compression or mastering on it, and then you can play around with that. And then if you're to get it to be loud enough without peaking, and not sounding like shit. And then compare it to other shit. Like listen to songs you like, listen to beats you like that sound good. Listen to yours, listen to theirs, and then you keep playing with it till you get it to sound as close to as loud as theirs are. But you don't want your stuff going all in the red. I think that's what you were kind of asking me. So um, here and there, it's okay, but not too much. So hopefully that helped. What's up, Stu? I hope all is well. Can you do a tutorial about turning a beat into a song? Like how to start it off, where's a good spot to drop the beat, how to give it variety, and how to end it. Maybe the process of taking everything from the MPC to arranging the DAW, etc. I'm getting to know the MPC decently and making some fire beats, but struggling with turning them into songs. I can't remember if I touched on this one before, but obviously I touched earlier about the MPC into the DAW earlier in this video. I think I talked about this one before, but think about it in terms of 16 bar verses, 4 to 8 bars of an intro so the rapper can talk shit, and then 4 to 8 bars on a hook, and then bring it back to the verse part. Um, that's the best way I can articulate it because listen to the songs you like and listen to how they're structured, and then do that. Think about that when you're putting your beats together. But that's what I find it usually is like the rapper talking shit for a little bit. Yo, what up, what up, what up, blah, 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 blah. Oh, and then they go in after like 4 bars. They're usually gonna do a 16, sometimes a 24, but nobody really does 24 or 32s anymore unless it's just like a freestyle. So they'll do a 16, and then they'll do an 8 bar hook or a 4 bar hook, or they'll play around with different hook lengths throughout the song. So think about it like that: talking shit, intro, verse, hook, repeat. They might do 2 verses with 2 hooks. And then at the end, they'll talk shit maybe for another 4 8 bars, or you can let your beat ride out. So that's where I would start. But also listen to songs you like, how they're structured, and just kind of try to mimic them with your beat and pretend there's someone rapping over it. That's how I would advise. I've had success with that. All right, last question. What's up, Stu? I was wondering what app you're using to edit your vids and put effects on them, G. I like Video Leap. Video Leap. It's dope because you can subscribe for $9.99 a month, $69.99 a year, or pay for it. I think it's $300 and you have it. It's dope, man. Like, and they keep updating it with new shit, like new effects. Um, I haven't bought it yet, but I had subscribed for a year, and then I didn't have it anymore. I was like, I don't want to pay for it anymore. I was being cheap, and then I was like, dude, I wish I still had it. Because if you have it, you can make the video as long as you want. You can do all the effects. Some of them and the filters. Some of them they give you for free. There's a free version. You only can use it for a minute. Each video can only be a minute and 20 seconds, and you get some of the filters. You get none of the effects. But if you buy it, you get all the shit, and then you can do everything on your phone. I do a lot of shit just on my iPhone, bro. Like I don't like I'm using the computer more and more now because I get organized, sit down at my desk, and bang shit out like I'm working in an office because I'm doing this as my full time. So I do stuff on my computer, my iMac, but I like being able to do shit on my phone, man. Like when I'm chilling, because even when I'm chilling, man, like when I'm not making beats or at my office at my desk, it's like I get bored, man. Just like watching TV. So I'll have shit on the background, but I'm always working, man. So this is called Video Leap, Video Leap. It's dope, and you can just do everything on your phone, literally, and upload everything to YouTube, wherever you are, Instagram, Facebook, directly from there. So I would suggest that Video Leap. Look into that. I hope this has been informative. I hope you guys keep sending questions in. I want to thank you guys all for being on the page. I hope you're finding that you're getting good value out of it with the samples and everything. We're doing another sample flip contest. I'm going to post a sample up Monday or Tuesday of this week, and we'll do it on the IG next Sunday. We got to see who's going to win the next one. You guys have been dropping some fire, man. And I mentioned the Patreon on this podcast I did last Sunday, which was dope. So I'm really trying to get the word out. If you guys can let people know, other beat makers, homies, know about it, spread the word, we can keep growing it, and I think it'll be good for everyone. Obviously, good for me. I appreciate it, but I think it's dope just the more people we get involved in it. So yeah, let me know what you guys think when I post this in the comments. If I didn't answer any questions that I had received for this one, and then the Q&A thread is up, so keep posting the questions in there. I'll be throwing more samples up this week too. So everybody have a good weekend. I appreciate you guys supporting. All right, peace.